You know what I think is one of the biggest lies that moms in business tell themselves every summer? I'll just figure it out as I go. And listen, I totally understand why we do it because summer feels like it should be flexible and fun and slow and spontaneous. But what actually happens for most moms is that we go into summer with good intentions, no real structure, and then by July, we feel like we're absolutely drowning. The house feels chaotic, the business feels inconsistent, the kids are super overstimulated, we're also overstimulated, and suddenly we're questioning absolutely everything. Not because we are not because we're not motivated or that we're lazy, but because flexibility without structure becomes total chaos. And today I want to talk about why summer plans fail even when you genuinely want things to work and what to do instead. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Sustainable CEO Mom Podcast, the show for service-based moms who are done with hustle culture and ready to build profitable businesses that actually fit their lives. I'm Jenny Sunnison, business strategist, podcast mentor, and the founder of Moms Make Money Collective. Let's build something sustainable. Hey, and welcome back to the Sustainable CEO Mom Podcast, the podcast for service-based mom entrepreneurs who want to build profitable businesses without burning themselves out in the process. Around here, we talk about sustainable systems, realistic growth, and what it actually looks like to build a business in the margins of motherhood, because success should support your life, not consume it. And today, we're going to be diving into something that I think a lot of moms are struggling with right now as summer approaches. And that is, how do you create flexibility without completely losing momentum? Because contrary to what Instagram will tell you, you do not need to choose between being present with your kids and having a functioning business. But you do need some sort of structure, not a super rigid structure, but supportive structure. So things like flexible systems and rhythms that help you stay grounded when life gets messy. So let's talk about it. So as I'm recording this episode, my son literally has 2.5 days left until summer starts. And honestly, I can already feel the transition happening mentally. Because even though both of my kids will eventually be in childcare at the same place this summer, and my overall hours will stay fairly similar to the school year, there's still some disruption. There's gap between camps, there's schedule shifts, there's different routines, and ultimately just different energy. In fact, I have a week and a half between school ending and camp beginning where I already know that I'll mostly be working at night because my son will be home. And the reason that I'm not panicking about that is because I planned for it. I batched ahead. I did things like batching ahead, simplifying, and I took a look at my capacity, honestly, instead of pretending that I could somehow work full-time while parenting full-time. And I think that's where so many summer plans start to fall apart. Most moms go into summer hoping motivation will carry them through, but motivation alone is not a strategy, and summer especially exposes weak systems. Because if your business only functions when conditions are perfect, then it's not sustainable. And I say that with love because a lot of moms think structure means rigidity, like having color-coded calendars and waking up at 5 a.m. and following some like hyper-optimized CEO routine. But that's really not what I'm talking about here. To me, structure means knowing what matters most. It means knowing what matters most. It means having rhythms instead of rigid routines. It means flexible systems that support you when life gets crazy. It means reducing decision fatigue. And it means not reinventing your business every single week. And honestly, I think one of the biggest mistakes that moms make during summer is trying to maintain the exact same expectations that they had during the school year. You cannot operate at full capacity while also trying to be fully present with your kids all summer long, because something is going to eventually break. And usually it's you. And I think we have to normalize adjusting our expectations seasonally instead of viewing that as failure, because sustainable businesses are built in seasons, not in constant max capacity hustle mode. So instead of trying to do more this summer, what if the goal was maintaining momentum? That is a completely different mindset because momentum doesn't require hustle. It can look like showing up consistently, nurturing your audience, serving your existing clients well, keeping your systems running, protecting your visibility, and maintaining revenue instead of obsessively scaling. That counts and is probably healthier in the long term anyway. One thing I've really focused on lately is building around what I call a minimum viable week. So this is basically asking myself, if life gets chaotic this week, what are a few things that still matter most and need to get done? Not like the ideal scenario or the Pinterest perfect schedule, but the minimum effective structure needed to keep things moving. So for me, that often looks like prioritizing client delivery, batching content ahead, heavily relying on automations, and simplifying my decision making. Because every single extra decision drains my energy, and summer already requires more mental energy as a mom. You're managing snacks, schedules, activities, interruptions, transitions, and constant noise. Your business needs to become simpler during seasons like this, not more complicated. And I think overcommitting is another huge reason that summer plans fail. We are saying yes to way too much because we're trying to compensate for the fear of slowing down. But overcommitting during summer usually creates resentment. You resent your business because it's taking away from your family, and then you resent your family because you feel behind in business. And that cycle is absolutely brutal, which is why I think one of the most powerful things that you can do heading into the summer is to simplify aggressively. You don't need 17 offers, you don't need to be constantly launching, and you don't need to create brand new content every single day. You probably need clear priorities, a lighter workload, better systems, and realistic expectations. That's it. And I also want to say this because I know someone listening probably needs to hear it as well. If summer has historically derailed your business, that does not mean you're bad at business. It probably means that your business was built around perfect conditions. And as you know, motherhood doesn't allow for perfect conditions, which is exactly why sustainable systems matter so much. You don't need to burn everything down every single June and rebuild every September. You need to stabilize it. That is the difference. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. You can absolutely have a summer that feels both fruitful and peaceful. You can make money, support clients, maintain momentum, and still be present with your kids. But it won't happen accidentally. It requires intentional structure, flexible systems, clear priorities, and realistic expectations for the season that you're currently in. Because flexibility without structure becomes chaos. And your business should support your life, not consume it. And if this episode resonated with you, I want to invite you to grab my free 20-hour workweek blueprint. Because inside that resource, I walk you through how to structure a sustainable business as a mom entrepreneur without feeling like you have to work 24/7 to keep things moving. It's practical, simple, and designed specifically for moms building businesses in real life. I'll make sure the link to that is in the show notes. All right, that's it for this episode. I will talk to you next week. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another service-based mom who's building something real. And when you're ready to move from reactive business ownership to sustainable CEO leadership, your next step is waiting for you. You'll find the right path, whether that's the accelerator, the collective, or a deeper intensive, by going to momsmakemoneycollective.com. You're not just building a business, you're building it your way sustainably, with profit, with margin, and with intention. Because hustle is optional, leadership isn't. I'll see you next week.